Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Retrotainment Recast, brought to you by myself, Ted, my co-host, capital C, capital O, Greg, and
What's happening?
and a man that we have both appeared on his podcast numerous times from the Sherlock reel, Carl Sherlock. How are you doing?
Oh, good, all good. Glad to be here. Excited for this new show.
Yeah, so this is a show concept that was actually come up by Carl. He messaged me and Greg about it. The idea here is that we're going to take films from the past and we're going to recast them, not as if they were going to be remade or anything, but just if they were made today, who would be the actors you put into each role. It'll be every second week we're going to do it because we need time to watch the film and then make our picks between ourselves.
It's a lot harder than you think.
It is, because you think you have someone locked in and then someone else pops into your head and you're like, oh, is that better? So you write that one down as well. You're sitting there with a list.
A headache.
I changed this about 60 times, I'd say, easily, just going through. And I was like, I have a dead cert now. 2 days later, that dead cert was out the window and I was back down to a choice of 3 or 4.
Yep.
So we're kind of going to make it a little bit of a competition. So each week there'll be one person who's the judge. This week it's going to be Greg to start us off. So it'll be myself and Carl giving our picks. It'll be an uneven number every week on the number of characters because we can't end in a draw, and then it'll be winner stays on from there. So Greg will pick who he thinks is the best. He has also made picks himself, which are just there for his own reference because he enjoys doing it, as we all will.
I couldn't let you have all the fun, lads.
Exactly.
But actually, no, this wasn't fun. This was just a headache.
It's a headache, but you do enjoy doing it. It's one of those things that is a headache, but you're like, yeah, I am enjoying looking at this. So that'll be the concept. Every 2 weeks we'll do this, and it'll be winner stays on, and the loser will pick the film for the following episode. So if I lose this week, I will give the film that we're doing at the end of this episode, and if Carl loses, he'll tell us what film we're doing for the following week. So I'll let you start off, Greg. We've both made our lists, and I'm going to send mine into the group chat now, just so that
Carl, if you could do the same, just so
I have it up and ready.
Right, here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
It's just in case, if Carl
Phone
makes a
down.
pick and I say, oh yeah, I made the same pick. It's to make sure that Greg can verify that on his end. So off you go, Greg. Leave it to you.
Right, lads, I gave you the rules in the dressing room. We're going to have a good, clean fight. Let's get it on.
Ding,
Right.
ding, ding.
So we'll go with a nice one to start. We'll go with Jules, who was played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay. I'll start this one off. This was a difficult one. I was down to 2 for so long to decide, but the one that I've chosen here is Anthony Mackie. Just seeing him in this role, and I watched the movie earlier on today, and I could actually see him do it. I could see him being Jules, so I was like, yeah, I'll just say that for now, and I'll give you Ted. You can choose yours, but Anthony Mackie, I think would be great for this role.
In my original list that I had done out before this, which had too many pieces of names crossed out and circled and things like that, he actually was on my list for a short while, and then I said to myself, is he the intimidating character? Is he intimidating enough? And the things I have seen him in are Marvel, and he's the good guy. So I find it hard myself to picture him that way. So I said to myself, I'm going to rule him out. And who I went with was Idris Elba.
Idris is a good choice.
I literally just watched the movie that had Idris Elba. I watched that Hobbs and Shaw. Lord Jesus, was a load of crap. But he's a bad man in that.
Yeah.
And even his voice when he done Shere Khan in The Jungle Book was frightening. Honestly, Anthony Mackie for me, he's not the intimidating character, especially if you've ever played a character.
He can be.
If you've played a character when your real name is Clarence, you don't get it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if you look back, Sam Jackson might be a Clarence in some film. Let's be honest.
Very likely. Very likely.
He's played every game under the sun, so maybe not. But I think for the part that it is, I'd have to go with Idris Elba.
Can I have a little
go ahead.
counter argument there?
I think that's fair,
The only thing I will say, have you seen Idris Elba with an American accent? I have.
Yeah.
It's not fantastic, and Jules is
Very
American
American.
personified because the first scene is in. They're talking about he's now like basically never left the States. He wants to go to Amsterdam to go and talk about to go to that. He's
It's
talking
true.
to Vincent Vega about it. It's because it's a pure unadulterated America.
It's
And like
true.
his whole persona is like that, bad motherfucker. This is America.
That was one of the problems I had with picking Idris Elba myself, to be fair. That was one of the things I think. But actually, did we say what film we were doing during this? If we didn't, it's Pulp Fiction for anybody who doesn't know. By the way,
Yeah, you could have said that at the start.
I don't remember if I said it at the start. If I didn't, it's Pulp Fiction, right? And Jules is Samuel L. Jackson's character in this.
Jules Winfield, of course.
Sorry about that. I did have a backup as well. I don't know if you had any yourself.
I did.
My backup was Michael B. Jordan.
My backup was Donald Glover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ted has my backup.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was my original pick up until a couple of days ago when I settled on Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx isn't bad.
Although I can't picture Jamie Foxx with an afro, but look, that's who I went with.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I'm thinking of Jamie Foxx, and I'm like, is Jamie Foxx a bad motherfucker? I don't know.
He was pretty badass in Collateral, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
He can be badass.
Yeah, that was my pick. I am going to stick with Idris Elba for this one, though, even with the American accent. Anthony Mackie's just a bit too small. I know he's not small.
Sam's not huge.
He's not.
He's an intimidating character.
Sam's bulkier, I think. Not bigger, but like physically just a bigger guy.
That's true.
Even if neither of them went to the gym in their life, like.
That's fair. I wasn't 100%.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah, it is one you're like, it could go either way.
That one was a tough one. It's a tough one because that is one of the most iconic characters in. In film. Right. We'll move on with Ted leading 1-0.
Yes.
Can he hold on? Right. We will go with Marcellus Wallace, played by Ving Rhames.
Okay.
Right. And I will just say that I think there was one thing that we didn't anticipate, is that whoever actually gives their one first is at a disadvantage, because I got a chance to, talk down Carl's one after he gave his. I didn't think that was going to be a thing until I actually got the chance to do it.
So I'll get a chance to read, or the other person will get a chance to retort.
It's all tactics now.
Yeah. So Marcellus Wallace. I went through a couple of people for this. But I did settle on Mike Coulter. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He played Luke Cage in the Marvel series on Netflix. I just feel he has that look, and the Luke Cage character was a big, intimidating guy. So I just feel he has that. Marcellus Wallace doesn't do a whole lot in this film. It centers a lot around him.
Ironically, he's probably the main character, though.
He's the main character, but like his actual screen time and like what he actually does is kind of limited. So
my choice for this one, although he doesn't have the physical stature, but pretty much kind of like the same one that you were doing there for Jules, his presence is more intimidating than anything else, and I think his presence is probably scarier than what Ving Rhames brought to the character. Jaimin Hansu. He is a blood diamond, if you've seen it.
Who hasn't seen it?
Yeah. Jaimin Hansu is a scary, scary man when he wants to be. I think he would, he'd play that role to perfection, kind of thing, and you'd be extremely scared and intimidated by Jaimin Hansu in that role. I think he would. he could play that role to perfection, I think.
Yeah.
It's actually one that I was quite proud of, coming up with Jaimin Hansu for that one.
It's strange because you've gone kind of out of left field there, because he's not, not that he's not a big actor, but he's not like one of the mainstream actors, which is kind of what I did with Luke Cage, the guy who plays Luke Cage. And I was like, I could be taking a risk here, picking someone that's not really mainstream, and people will be like, oh, maybe, and they haven't seen him in a whole lot of stuff.
True, but Jaimin Hansu is one of those guys you're like, oh yeah, he was great in that.
Yeah.
And he's not usually the number one name on the cast, but you always remember his performance.
True, yeah.
He was absolutely immense in Blood Diamond.
Yeah. He was unbelievable. So I think he would. Again, it's kind of the same role for Marcellus Wallace.
Yeah.
You remember what happens in it, but he's not. He's not the one you're talking about at the end.
True.
Which I think Jaimin is perfect for that.
I will have to give you that one, Carl, and level that up. I didn't really like Luke Cage. I can see where you were coming from, Ted.
Big bulky guy.
Yeah.
Intimidating.
Ironically, I don't think Marcellus Wallace was actually supposed to be Ving Rhames at the start. I don't think he was supposed to be as big in thing. But that's just from reading some things, that kind of way.
Yeah,
of course.
But I went with Idris Elba for this one.
Oh, okay, I couldn't go with Idris Elba because I'd put him somewhere else.
Well, actually, when I was doing this list, I put him in. That was one of the first names I had because of the voice when he done Shere Khan, and you don't really see a whole lot of Marcellus in this.
Yeah, so you could get away
until Bruce Willis's story.
Yeah,
then you see a whole lot of them.
Yeah,
but actually, the Gimp sees a whole lot of them.
Yeah,
it's true.
Did you have any other backups on this then, Carl?
I did, and I actually went down the Marvel route as well, but I chose a different actor. I had Winston Duke, who's M'Baku from Black Panther.
Yeah. He's someone I had him on my very original list. I had two other ones that I had really shortlisted. One really shortlisted, and then one that I was like, I don't know if this guy could play the character in the serious role that he needs to. So the one that was really shortlisted was Terry Crews.
Yeah, I thought of him originally, but I was just like, I couldn't take him seriously.
Yeah, I think that was kind of my problem. I was like, he is a big, intimidating guy, no doubt about it. But I was like, I've kind of gotten used to him as a bit of a comedy guy as well, so I don't know. And that was the big problem with the next one. The guy Craig Robinson, who plays Doug Judy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I was like, I don't know if I could take him. Robinson. I was like, could I take him seriously as Marcellus Wallace? And I was like, he'd fit the bill.
If he shaved his head and he looked completely different, I probably could because
I think he has the ability to do it. But I was like, you're also like, I'm playing the game, I'm like, if I say Doug Judy, is Greg ever gonna think Doug Judy could be Marcellus Wallace? So I was like, nah, I can't go with that as my main one.
No. Well, to be honest, if I see Terry Crews in anything now, all I can picture of him is him playing a Jamaican guy in Blended. The Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
It's so funny.
Just everything about Terry Crews, I love him, so I'd have him in it just because
he would be a good shout, though.
Yeah, it's just, I think it is just that thing that everyone's gotten used to him, and I don't know if I could take him as that character.
Yeah.
No, because he wouldn't change his look or anything like that. He'd just be, oh look, it's Terry Crews. You'd see Terry Crews. You wouldn't see the character.
Yeah, he's too big a persona, I think.
Yeah. So we go 1-1 then.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. We will run with Honey Bunny.
Honey Bunny.
Who was played by Amanda Plummer.
I'll start off on this one. This is the only one that I didn't have a substitute for.
Okay.
Because this is actually the first name I wrote down as well. It was just like, of all the ones, it's the first person I cast, and it was been locked in since the very start. And the only reason I thought of her was because it's Tarantino. Tarantino's still directing this flick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he likes to use the same actors again. And so first person I went to was Jennifer Jason Leigh from The Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
She can play that, desperate person who's looking to rob somewhere. She's not in the film for very long. She doesn't have to be, she's not cast huge.
She opens it really, though.
Exactly, she does.
Yeah.
And Amanda Plummer, at this thing back then, she wasn't this huge name as well. So
that is true.
Tim Roth was the one that was the huge name.
Yeah.
So Jennifer Jason Leigh, she was, or as well as Amanda Plummer, she was a name, but it wasn't this huge star that was coming in to steal the show. She played it very well. I think Jennifer Jason Leigh could do that perfectly.
It's a good choice. So for my one, this wasn't locked in straight away for me. I actually had a 4, and I had more than that, and even now I still only got it down to 4. I went with Helena Bonham Carter. The crazy, that whole like acting absolutely insane. She has that down, and as an actress, like, she's top notch as well. Like
she is great. Yeah.
And I think part of Honey Bunny's character is she kind of needs to have that look of, you know, both deranged and like withered, like in a sense.
That's
like,
definitely Jennifer Jason Leigh, though. Have you seen Hateful Eight?
No, she does as well. But like that was kind of my thinking, because one of my backup picks was Audrey Plaza, and I was like, she doesn't have that look of
the desperation.
Like, I was like, she has the kind of crazy, but she doesn't have the look of like absolutely like, you know, run down and desperate sort of thing. So I was like, I don't know if I could, I couldn't lock her in, but she was one that I think it's like a facial expression at one point in the film that Amanda Plummer makes, and I was like, that looks very similar to her.
Yeah.
Well, lads,
what do you think, Greg? What do you think?
I'm gonna show you my list, right? I don't know whether you're gonna be able to see it. Can you make it out there?
Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Locked in.
Yeah, she's just such a good actress. Like,
yeah, the crazy psychotic person. Now, I did have one backup. I went down to 2 straight away for her. It was her and Sherry Moon.
Ooh.
Now, I don't think Sherry Moon's a great actress as it is, but as a crazy psycho, when you see her as in Devil's Rejects and whatnot, was thing. But I locked in Helena Bonham Carter, so I'm gonna give that one to Ted. That was the pick. I thought I was onto an absolute gem there, because I was talking to Ted the other day, and I was like, I'm onto a gem with that one.
Yeah.
Little did I know it would be the same.
We did make sure to never give any actual picks
of course,
to each other, you know. I will tell you my other 2 backups. I don't know, like, he may or may not know them. Tegan Murphy, who was Gilly in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never watched it.
If you ever saw Skins, did you ever watch Skins back in the day?
No, I didn't.
No, okay, well, she was in that as well.
Movies are more my thing, lads. Movies are more my thing instead of TV.
every episode of Game of Thrones was like a movie.
Yeah, to be fair.
I suppose.
And
There's commitment going into that many episodes.
Yeah, there is that.
And then Natalia Tena, I think it is. She played Tonks in Harry Potter.
Okay. Yeah, I like her.
I also thought good. she would have been a good shout for her.
I have no idea who that is.
She was in Game of Thrones as well. She was Osana, the other one that hangs around with Hodor.
Hodor. Oh, the door.
Yeah, do you know, you're one that like runs off from the castle with him when they first leave?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it's her.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go 2-1.
Yeah,
cool. I could not, when I had her picked and locked on my list.
Yeah, true.
So now we will go to her beloved boyfriend, Pumpkin. Played by Tim Roth.
Okay, so for this, when I was first doing this, and it's not who I picked, but I could not get this out of my head because I thought it would be the funniest thing in the world. Is I was like, what if you had Michael Cera as Tim Roth's character? I was like, I couldn't get it out of my head, but I was like, I could never take him seriously as that character. So he can't be my pick, but it just kept sticking in my head as, imagine how funny it'd be if that's who it was. Like,
while you're saying that, I'll just give my backup there as well, and I haven't gone ahead with it, which I thought would be hilarious as well. Would be Matthew Lillard or Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
I love how you go with Shaggy from Scooby Doo and not Scream.
That's from Scream, I know, but I mean,
yeah, but it's easier.
He's
to know
known
him
as Shaggy. Let's be honest.
Or without a paddle.
Without a paddle.
Yeah.
Of course, but I thought Matthew Lillard, he was my backup. I went differently, but I thought Matthew Lillard would have been a good shout as well.
Good actor.
I went with Alfie Allen, which is Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I know him. Yeah,
I think you would know him. You'd know him to see. I think it's more the look.
Is he not a bit young looking?
He might be. He is young, right? But he has this kind of like
manipulative.
He kind of looks old as well. Like he's only 34, but like genuinely, you could believe him to be quite a bit older. He has that like old, withered look on him, in a way. And he like in Game of Thrones, and I haven't watched it, but like he plays like this broken down character most of the time. But before he becomes like, even when he is broken down, he kind of gets back up, and he's a real aggressive and, you know, angry character. So I was like, he can do both parts of that, and I think he could work.
Fair. The way I went with this one was, again, I'm going down the Tarantino route of reusing actors and using big name actors in small roles, which he likes to do, and he did in this role itself. Brad Pitt. And his partnership with the now cast Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah,
we've seen it in Fight Club. It works.
Ooh, that's a game changer, because Alfie Allen was my original pick up until 3 days ago.
Oh wow, fucking hell!
As soon as I was thinking through it, I was like, I need someone that looks dishevelled, and looks broken down.
If you look him up there, you'll see.
Oh, I know.
I know. He's so dishevelled looking.
He is.
But you may have just won this one.
Yeah, Brad Pitt can look dishevelled. I can picture him sitting there in the Hawaiian shirt, you know.
I was going to say, is Brad Pitt maybe too good looking? And then I was like, but no, I've seen him in stuff, and he does look dishevelled in some stuff. Like, he can do it, and, you know, is he that big a name anymore?
Is he too good looking? Can he do dishevelled? He done Mickey in Snatch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's what I was kind of thinking that, and then I was like, oh, mate, is he maybe too big a name? And then I'm like,
Tim Roth at that time as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, Tim Roth was a big name at the time as well. So yeah.
Carl, I think you may have just changed my pick on this.
To be honest, I'm happy to lose to Brad Pitt going in there. Like, I thought Alfie Allen was a good pick. I also had Ramsey, the guy who played Ramsey in Game of Thrones.
They're all your picks, Game of Thrones, man.
No, I did say to you that once I got a series into my head, I just started picking things from it, and then I was like, I need to stop.
So I had Alfie Allen locked in early, and I was set on it up until I watched Black Widow the other night, and I changed it to David Harbour.
Okay. Yeah, Harbour would be good there. I can see that.
Especially with the beard.
Yeah. I can see that, definitely.
Jesus, he really could have been, couldn't he?
Although, literally one just popped into my mind, but I think it might be too dishevelled. No, I'm happy with Brad Pitt, don't get me wrong. It was your man, can't think of his name at the moment. He played Rorschach in Watchmen.
Jackie Earl Haley.
That's it, yeah. Maybe he'd be a bit too dishevelled.
Macaulay Culkin, lads.
I won't. Well, he could actually have been a shout.
He actually was on my list.
He was on mine as well, but I was like, I don't think I could take Macaulay Culkin as a bad guy.
Yeah,
I can't look at Jackie Earl Haley in anything anymore after watching Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we're going 2-1. This is more entertaining than a bit of a shootout here. Or 2-2. Sorry, 2-2.
It's 2-2 now. Yeah, it was 2-1, and then Carl swung it with his Brad Pitt.
I'll tell you what, though, genius. Like, I didn't even think of going that big for it.
I was the same. Like, that's kind of why I struggled. That's why I kind of had Game of Thrones actors and stuff, because I was like, I don't want it to be a big actor, but like, I should have been thinking like,
I'm the same. I didn't want a big actor myself.
Yeah,
I didn't want a big actor, but I was just like, Brad Pitt kind of toes that line. Like, when he's in a film, he's the big actor, or he can do the small indie film, and he's just like, okay, yeah,
he can. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way myself at all. I was just like, I need someone kind of small time, but I shouldn't have been, because like Tim Roth was a big name at the time. Yeah.
Right. Well, now we go into the final three.
Final three.
This is where it's won and lost, lads.
It is. It is indeed.
Right, we're gonna go with Butch, played by Bruce Willis.
Okay. See, I have two there. I'm really struggling with, and both are like completely left field. By the way, both are completely left field. You wouldn't think so. Keep that in mind when I'm saying this, okay? So it's retired.
I'll get Google ready.
No. You actually mentioned him earlier on in a different role. Jamie Foxx.
Oh, I think
about to retire. About to retire from boxing, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
About to retire from boxing. He can play that role. I can imagine him on the motorbike. I can imagine him with a samurai sword. don't want to imagine, but I can imagine with the ball gag.
Yeah. It is a left field
It's
choice.
left field.
But I
It's a left
can't
field
say
choice. I understand.
I can't
but
say it's a bad choice either.
this was the hardest one for me to choose.
I'm the same. I said to Greg guys before, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, Butch, I'm happy to just basically concede because the picks I have, there's only one that I'm happy with, and I didn't pick it because I was like, it's a bit too old. It was Jason Statham. I was like, he's too old. I was like, he's the perfect character for it, but he's too old. Like, he's 50
20 years ago, maybe, yeah.
Although I think Jamie Foxx is about the same age, yeah. So,
but he looks younger.
Jamie Foxx does look younger, yeah. Like Jason Statham would look great. Like he'd do the part well, but I think he looks a bit too old to be a boxer at that time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Jamie Foxx, you might maybe tone the line a little bit with Jamie Foxx on his age, but I mean, he could probably pull it off.
Yeah, probably, yeah. The pick I did go for was Tom Hardy in the end. As I said, I really wasn't happy with any of my picks here. I had Tom Hardy, Channing Tatum, Hugh Jackman. I was like, Hugh Jackman's too old. Jason Statham felt was just too old, and then I was kind of down to Channing Tatum and Tom Hardy.
Too pretty to play a boxer.
And I was like Channing Tatum and Tom Hardy, and I was like, I'm not overly happy with either of those picks.
He did do that film Fighting, didn't he?
Yeah, but I was like, if I had to pick one out of those two, it's going to be Tom Hardy, and that's the one I went with. I'm happy to kind of concede that one. I'm not very happy with my pick at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's going to go against you anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. Now, I actually picked John Cena.
Oh, I don't think he's a great actor.
Yeah, I don't know if he has
I
the
like
chops.
him. I like him.
He has the chops.
He's a comedic actor, but I couldn't take him seriously in this role, and he's quite pivotal in this movie.
I had him and Channing Tatum, and I just couldn't settle on it myself. But I'd already locked Jamie Foxx in elsewhere, so I was like, no, I didn't even. To be honest, I didn't even cross my mind.
That's why I said it's left field.
Jason Statham was the first one to pop into my head, and I was like, he's too old to be that character.
Yeah,
it's a semi-retired prize fighter.
Yeah.
Right then.
So what you go? Jamie Foxx, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, 3-2.
3-2. You're on the line now, Ted.
Woo. I'm on the line. I'm on the line here.
Right. So we've got arguably the two
These
most
are the
famous.
These are the two main characters, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
We will go with Vincent Vega, who was played by John Travolta.
Okay, this one was tough to do.
It was.
So I'll give my two backups first. Chris Pratt and Chris Evans.
While we're saying that, my backup is Chris Pine.
A lot of Chris's here, lads. But
I picked Christy Brown.
Jesus, I don't think he'd work. My actual pick was Zac Efron. Kind of a suave guy. You know, he has that, you know, chauvinistic. But he's also a bit like he plays the ditzy kind of character as well, where he's kind of like, I'm not really sure.
Very good in Baywatch.
Yeah, he's very good. To be honest, he's quite good in nearly everything he does.
I like Zac Efron a lot, but Baywatch is not a film I enjoyed.
I enjoyed it for different reasons.
He does the character he's meant to do well in it.
Yeah, I really liked him in that Greatest Showman. I thought he was brilliant in that.
Yeah, honestly, I think he's been very good in a lot of stuff he's done. Especially recently, like, and he kind of has that character to me, of like, you know, he's not entirely like sure what's going on all the time, but he seems very confident in himself, and he's like, yeah, I'm real, you know, cool guy, but also I'm a bit of an idiot.
True. My pick for this one was Sebastian Stan,
who is obviously
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he's Bucky.
Yeah. I just think he has the look. I could take him dead serious. I know it probably goes an awful lot better when I said I had Anthony Mackie, because their two chemistries would have bounced off each other phenomenally.
Yeah.
But even standing alone as Vincent Vega, alongside Idris Elba, I think that would still work.
I
I can picture him quite dead on as in that role in the black suit, even having a laugh at wearing the t-shirt and the shorts. They have to make a laugh at themselves. I can picture him doing the dance. I can picture him doing all that. So
see, that's what I was trying to think, and I was like, I can take Zac Efron because like he's a big enough guy, so I can take him seriously as like this guy is
a hitman. Yeah,
like this guy will fucking kill you, because he obviously played what was it? Ted Bundy. So like you can take him seriously as a dangerous guy, but also he's played so many roles where he's kind of a bit of an idiot. So I'm like, yeah, he'd play the role of like, yeah, I'm making a bit of a laugh of myself here with the boss's missus because that's what she wants. Like, yeah, grand.
True.
Right. Well, I had Leo in there as my backup.
He was on my list at one stage.
I felt he was too big, is why I stayed away from him. I felt he was
too
big.
Yeah,
Same
well, I said to you, Ted, I said my Jules pick or my Vega pick was locked down instantly.
You did.
I went with Adam Driver.
Oh, that's a good choice. Adam Driver's a great choice.
I don't know if I take Adam Driver as like
looks like a junkie.
Oh no, yeah,
he does.
No,
but I don't know if I take him as the suave guy.
I could. Like, it was like even when you watch him in The Dead Don't Die, he's brilliant. And I don't really like him as an actor.
I like him as an actor. I actually really like him as an actor. But I don't know. I don't know if I take him as the suave, cool guy. Like I just don't know if I can picture him in that role.
That's who I went with anyway.
Who do you choose between us?
Yeah.
Pitch me again.
So,
Sebastian Stan
or Zac Efron. Yeah.
Plus, I'll say Sebastian Stan probably looks more like the role in which Travolta did. He looks more similar kind of thing.
At the minute.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we had done this before I watched that Ted Bundy thing, I think I'd have picked Sebastian Stan straight away.
Yeah.
But the unnerving looks that Zac Efron gave in the performance in that Ted Bundy thing was brilliant.
Okay.
As I says, I liked him in Baywatch, but Baywatch was just a bit of fun. That was it. Like,
but see, that's the thing. Yeah, he can be that fun character, and like if it hadn't been for that Ted Bundy thing, I wouldn't have even thought of him for it because I wouldn't have thought him as he could be a hitman. I'd never have thought of him as that until that. Like I was like, yeah, he could kill you.
Like Sebastian Stan is good and whatnot. I thought he was actually better in the movies than the TV show.
Oh really?
Yeah. I thought he was better in the likes of Civil War and
he is great in Civil War and in Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I thought he was better. I don't know. I think the Ted Bundy thing is just swaying it for me. It's just the looks in his eyes. It just looks like he'd actually just chop you up and leave you in the wall. And like I watched 2 or 3 of the Ted Bundy documentaries that came out around that time, and it was that one that stuck out.
There was loads of them out at that time.
It's like they're doing the one now on Sophie Pascal de Plantier.
Yeah,
everyone's getting in on that now.
They all just jump on it and keep
doing it. That's what's popular.
Do it to death, like unfortunately. Like
so, I'm unfortunately gonna have to give it to Ted.
All right, 3-3.
Comes down to the last one.
Down to the last wire.
Sudden death, boys.
Now this is one. I've said that this is the one that this is the one I am super confident on.
I'm pretty happy with mine now as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I said it in the chat to you. This is the one that I am.
Oh, this is the one you're happy about.
This is the one I am super locked in on. Like I don't think it can be beaten.
Let's see if we have the same one.
We're going with Mia.
Mia Wallace,
played by Uma Thurman.
So for this, I went down the Tarantino route again, using an actress that he has used previously. And I think she would steal it. It's not Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman.
Is it Rosario Dawson?
It's Margot Robbie.
She was on my short list.
Yeah, I think Margot would be phenomenal in this this role. I really do. We've seen her coked out of it, in Birds of Prey, even though that's a terrible movie.
We've seen her coked out of it in Wolf of Wall Street. That
as well. She's not afraid of taking those type of roles. I think she'd be great in this role. And she looks quite, give her the black wig, she'd look quite similar as well to Uma Thurman.
Kind of looks like a junkie.
She can do. She can give that off that look, and then she can also give off the classy look.
Does she have a big old biddies enough though to do it?
Ah, yeah.
You can get around that.
Oh,
though.
yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
you can get around that as well, though. Like it doesn't like that's all stuff you can get around.
And I'm sure she's not. I'm sure she's not afraid of showing her feet either, which
No,
we know she's not.
Yeah, that's a very important part of it.
Well, that's why Meg Ryan lost the job.
Yeah,
it's true.
Imagine losing the job and then looking back on it 20 years later, being like,
it's true. And just do me one favor there, Greg. Picture the cover of Pulp Fiction. Uma Thurman on the bed, but picture that as Margot Robbie. It works perfectly.
I mean,
right. So Margot Robbie is actually on my shortlist, and she was my pick all the way up until, as I said, I fell into this thing of when I started, I'd get a series in my head, and then I'd spin off from that. So Luke Cage was the series that spun me off from this. Christine Ritter, who played Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah.
If I send this is into the Facebook group chat.
I have it there.
I know what she looks like.
She look at that image in the Facebook group chat. She looks exactly like fucking Tegan. She has the exact look of her. And the whole Jessica Jones character is basically an alcoholic who's a badass.
Does she have the acting chops for that role? That's what I'm afraid of. I mean, when you're trying to compare for that role, it's quite a complex role, really, for
it is,
Uma Thurman's role, and we know for a fact Margot can do that.
Yeah,
Margot can do that role and do it very well.
For me, she's actually been in quite a lot of things. She's been in Breaking Bad and things like that as well.
She was so good in Breaking Bad as the girlfriend.
Yeah, which is why I do think, and like obviously the first Jessica Jones. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't bothered watching it since it came out in 2015. But she was up, like the main villain in that is David Tennant. So that's who she's basically acting up against. And I mean, if you're matching up with David Tennant, I think you've got the acting chops out there.
Right. I had two in mind for this. After weeks of deliberation, I whittled it down. My backup was Emma Stone.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a very good choice.
And I'm going to show you my pick now.
It's got to be the same one as Carl, isn't it?
It is. It's Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Yes!
I can't move away from it. It was the name that stuck out.
See, that's the thing. Kristen Ritter wouldn't have stuck out to me. It was only because I'd gotten Luke Cage into my head for the Marcellus Wallace and then moved on to that. And then when I seen her with the fringe, I was like,
it is the exact same haircut, to be fair.
It's not even the exact same haircut. Look at the face, even the shape of the face stuff. It's look at those pictures side by side, and that is the same person. Like,
yeah.
To me, I was just like, and she plays a drunk. Like the whole Jessica Jones character is a drunk. Then she was great in Breaking Bad as well. I was just like,
a junkie.
Yeah, exactly. She's a junkie again, and that I was just like, she has the exact thing that you'd need to be that character.
Yeah. She never even came into my mind. I knew roughly who I was going with almost straight away. As I said, I had the two. I actually had three. I had Chloe Grace Moretz on it as well.
My other pick was Bryce Dallas Howard.
I hate that woman.
Well, I'm glad I didn't pick her.
I hate that woman. She annoys me in everything.
No, the only reason I picked her was because I never mind the rest of the film. I just got the picture of her, when they're walking back into the house after she's had the OD episode.
Yeah.
That one scene, I was like, Bryce Dallas Howard would knock that out of the park. But
she's in everything nowadays as well.
She kind of moved more into directing as well instead.
She's not a bad director, though, to be fair.
She's not.
Unfortunately, I am going to stick with my pick.
Okay. So we have Margot Robbie dancing with Zac Efron.
I could see that.
I could, actually.
I could see, and as I said, like Margot Robbie, when I first thought of the role, that's who I did have. And it was like, that's who I had locked in until I seen Kristen Ritter. And then I was like, I just can't unsee her as that role.
That's fair.
I was just like, genuinely can't see past the fact that she looks exactly like Uma Thurman in that.
Yeah.
And that she has I feel she has the acting chops, and we know she can play like a drunk junkie sort of thing.
See, I did almost choose Uma Thurman's daughter. If you watch Stranger Things, she's your one that worked behind the ice cream bar with your man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's Uma Thurman's daughter. Yeah, so I almost chose her, but I was just like, he's probably going to be doing that for Kill Bill 3.
Yeah, I kind of thought for that. I was like,
I hope that doesn't happen.
I was like, is she too
young?
One, too young, and then two, like, she hasn't had that sort of acting level. Would she be able to hold up? I was like, I don't think she'd hold up. I did have her in my head for a while though, but the same as you, I was like, I don't think so now. Yeah,
no, it's the only. I'll be honest, Margot Robbie does suit the role perfectly, but the reason she came into my mind was because she's worked with Tarantino before, and I know Tarantino likes using the same actors.
Yeah, he does.
That kind of helped me a lot in this.
he gets ones that work, and he gets them in. There's a few directors that do it. Scorsese does it an awful lot as well.
He does.
If you're happy, and you've worked with them, you're happy to work with them.
Exactly.
Even Spielberg has used quite a few of the same movie after movie. Like he used Roy Schneider in Jaws, and then he went on to do Close Encounters.
True. Oh. See, if we were doing other characters, you'd have to get Sam Jackson in there because he's literally in every single Tarantino film. So I was thinking him to be the Harvey Keitel character just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, there's your question before we get the movie of choice. What character's been in the most Quentin Tarantino movies?
I think Uma Thurman's too obvious an answer, isn't it?
It's not Uma Thurman.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's the obvious answer because she's been such a headline in a lot of his films.
Surely it's Sam Jackson.
It's not going to be Ving Rhames.
It's not Ving Rhames.
It's not going to be Bruce Willis. Is it? Has Tim Roth been in like loads of minor parts for him or something? Tim Roth.
It's your man who cuts off his ear, isn't it? What's his name?
Michael Madsen.
No, it's not Michael Madsen. I was thinking Michael Madsen, but it's not Michael Madsen.
No.
Who was it?
Himself.
Oh, himself. Oh, fucking
He's not an actor though.
He's credited in every movie.
He is credited.
But that's he's not an actor. He's a director.
Yeah. He was an actor in From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, he's not really an actor. I don't consider him an actor. He's a director.
No, well, I argued that point. So actually, theoretically, as a full-blown actor, it is Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
I
think
we had a quiz one night in work.
Right. Okay.
That was one of the questions in it, and I put down himself, and they told me I was wrong, and I argued, as I do.
Yeah. Well, you were wrong because he's not an actor.
He is. If he's credited, he's an actor.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. Technically, you're correct.
It's a technicality, but he's not an actor. Like that's just a vanity project.
That was just one of those questions that we threw in there just to bulk out the episode just a little bit more. Don't at me. Right, Ted.
Right, so it's
loser's choice.
My choice then. So there was a couple of films I was thinking through, and it's kind of like you need to pick a film with enough big characters in it, because you can't have just 2 or 3 big characters, because then that's a very
we're struggling.
It's too short an episode. Like you don't have enough. So what I've decided to go with is Hook. Yeah.
Right.
Fuck you. I don't want to play anymore.
Okay.
Hook. It's a big film. We'll have to obviously discuss who we're going to put into it. I didn't think that exactly.
We can do that off camera.
Yeah, we can do that off air. But
boy, you better get that movie ready, Carl, because you're going down, motherfucker.
It's such a great film as well. Like, and I was like, I have to have something good to follow up.
Does this happen to come from the conversation that we had the other night, Ted?
No, I had it picked well before that.
Oh.
But that's it for this week. Carl is our winner.
Will we just do a rundown of our cast before we go?
Yeah. So, we had Mia Wallace.
Margot Robbie, dancing alongside Vincent Vega as our Zac Efron. Who gets killed by Butch Coolidge, which is our Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Who is in a deal with Marcellus Wallace as our Jaimin Hansu.
Yeah.
Who also hires Jules Winfield, which is Idris Elba. and then has a nice long conversation with Pumpkin, Brad Pitt, and then he is in partnership with Honey Bunny as Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Perfect cast. Tarantino, pay us now. We're done.
Well,
here.
I mean, he had the perfect cast. We just
but
had to use it.
please, never remake this movie.
No, I don't want to see the film remade. This is just a bit of fun. We're not asking for any of the films that we put here to be remade. That is not what we're looking for.
This is just a new challenge show.
Just having a bit of a crack, you know. But that'll be it for this week. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you have any other choices that you think would have been better than anything we picked, or
if you think we were right.
If you think we were right or wrong on any of our choices.
If you want to take on the challenge,
at some point, yeah,
drop us a comment.
Let us know and we'll get somebody else in. But for next week, I will be the judge, and you boys will need to come up with the cast for Hook, which is obviously, if anyone hasn't seen it, a Peter Pan film, but not called Peter Pan. But for this week, it's good luck, and again, thanks very much, Carl, for coming up with this concept.
No worries, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's head scratching.
We shall see you in 2 weeks.
We will see you in 2 weeks from now. Bi-weekly, not meaning twice a week, but meaning every second week. Good luck.
Yeah. Sean.